Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya, and I want you to go with me today as we make something that might be considered an appetizer in a popular restaurant you might have visited, but we consider it something just to eat as a meal or right along with another entree if you have one, maybe a salad or something. These are really good. These are called Southwest egg rolls, and that name might sound familiar to you if you've been to a Chili's restaurant. I have not had these at a Chili's restaurant, surprise! But friends of mine who have come over and had these with us say they taste exactly like Southwest egg rolls from Chili's. So go along with me, and I think you're going to like these. Let's go have some fun. We have our clear bowl that we are quite fond of now because it shows you what ingredients are going in here. And I have my ingredients lined up, so we're just going to add these real quick, and then we're going to assemble our egg rolls. This is 2 cups of frozen corn that's been thawed. Sometimes I use it still frozen, but this is super sweet corn from Trader Joe's, and if you've not had it, it's almost hard not to eat it like candy. It's just that good. Super sweet. This is a cup and, 15-ounce can. A cup and a half of black beans that I've cooked ahead of time. Now you can use a can of black beans and just drain them and rinse them real well. That goes in there. But I just cooked some black beans. I know that it's a cup and a half in a can, so that's what that is. This is 9 ounces of frozen chopped spinach, thawed and squeezed all the liquid out, and it comes down to that. Hard to believe that 9 ounces can reduce down to that much, but it does. So far we have corn, black beans, and spinach. We also have, this is 4 green onions that I've diced. Just the green part, not the white part. I save the white part and go stick it back in the ground somewhere around the house that doesn't get treated by a lawn care company. And they just grow real beautiful. But the reason I don't have any from my yard, I had to actually run to the store this morning and get these because we had such a hard freeze the last few days that kind of wiped my onion supply out. They'll come back, but for right now, they are a no-go. This is a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies that I've kind of squeezed as much of the moisture out as I can. That in there. This smells so good even if it's not in the tortillas yet. Not tortillas, egg roll wrappers. This is not a burrito. I'll keep reminding myself, this is not burritos. This is egg rolls. And they're so pretty too. Okay, we're gonna add our seasonings before we put the cheese in there. We're gonna put a teaspoon of ground cumin in there. Whoops, whew, that was a close one. We're gonna add a half of a teaspoon of chili powder. I'll hold on to that one better. Half a teaspoon of salt. A half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you're afraid it's going to make it too spicy for you, just add less, but we go with a half teaspoon and it does not seem to have just an immense amount of heat to it if you're concerned about that. Give that a stir. And I have 8 ounces of Colby Jack cheese, or you could use Colby and Monterey Jack, just a combination of the two, 4 ounces of each. I have that shredded up. I shredded that right before I turned the cameras on. Please do not use pre-shredded cheese that you already buy shredded in the supermarket. It has a cellulose coating to it, and it does not behave in the same manner as freshly shredded cheese. Cellulose isn't something you need in this. Okay, add that to it, give it a stir. And I'm gonna get my egg roll wrappers, not tortillas, but egg roll wrappers, out of the refrigerator. And at this point, I'm gonna turn my oven on to 400 degrees to get it preheated. So set that aside. Here's our egg roll wrappers. I would love to be able to find organic egg roll wrappers. I've looked and looked. I've consulted with friends that own stores locally that carry really good stuff, and they said they've never seen any before, I think is the last I heard of that. So egg roll wrappers are one of those things you don't want to just take the whole stack out if it's real dry in your house. They will dry out pretty quick, but we don't want them to dry out. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this bowl that I had my onions in. And I have an ice cream scoop with a dasher on the inside, and that's what we're going to scoop our filling out with. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've made these. Actually, it's been quite a while since I've made these. So I don't remember exactly how much I normally put in there, but it seems like I remember that being the case. So with egg rolls, what you want to do is get your mixture. I'm hoping the camera can pick this up. Get your mixture kind of laid out like this. And let's see, I have this backwards. Put it closer toward you. Roll it like this. Keep rolling. I think I just did this wrong. Pretty sure I did this wrong. Yeah, I did this wrong. Okay, that one's a goof up. You do these at an angle. That's why it looks so strange to me. It's what happens when you don't make things enough. You forget how they're done. There we go. Now, bring your sides over like this. There we go, that feels better. And you're gonna put a little line of water at the end. These have cornstarch on the outside of them, and it just makes them stick together at the end. So that is your egg roll. Hopefully you can see that. And if it makes a little tear in it, it's really not that big of a deal with these. I mean, you don't want to just gash them open intentionally, but because the filling isn't real runny, it's pretty substantial and it stays together. It's not just going to ooze out like some fillings would. I keep tearing it in the same spot with my finger. Okay, there's another. Now we're gonna get all these egg roll wraps filled with the filling, and then we will brush them with some olive oil. Bake them in the oven. That's the best part. I should have told you that ahead of time. These are so easy, you can bake them in the oven. And that's how I make these. These are not fried. I know that years ago I used to make egg rolls quite a bit. When I learned how to make fried rice, it was just the coolest thing to think. I made something that actually tasted that good. It was really fun. It tasted like it came from a restaurant, so that was exciting. But to fry those egg rolls, oh my goodness, I don't like the smell of the grease that it causes in my house. I just, I don't like anything about the frying process. I'm not big on frying chicken in a bunch of oil, and I don't like frying egg rolls. But when I learned how to make these, I was like, there you go, that's the best of both worlds. It tastes really good, and you don't have to fry them. You just bake them in the oven. So that is a bonus. This will fill up about 20 of these wrappers. Are there 20 in here? Yeah, there's 20 in here. And I don't know the amount to tell you on that scoop. My guess is it's about, that looks like about 1/3 of a cup. It doesn't quite look like a 1/2 cup, but it looks like a little bit more than 1/4 of a cup. So we'll just guess 1/3 of a cup. And if you have 1/3 of a cup measuring cup and you don't have a scoop with a dasher on it, then I would say go with 1/3 of a cup. Oops. Oh, I busted that one open really bad. Okay, this is not good. I think that one was super thin on the edge. Man, that's really sad. If that was the only example I had for y'all, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Look at that. That's bad. I'm keeping it. Who cares? Or as I keep hearing people say now, it's okay. So that's okay. I don't think I'm overfilling them. Maybe my husband will edit that part out. Maybe not. Okay, you want to be sure and put that little corner at the bottom so it doesn't come unrolled as it bakes. Okay, I don't think we're going to get 20 out of this. I think it's going to be closer to 16 or 17, maybe. We're also going to be making the sauce for this as these bake. So there is a dipping sauce. Although these are really good on their own. I may or may not have eaten my share of these just by themselves. All right. Let's see. We had 2 left out of there, so that's not bad. We won't waste those. We'll make something out of those. That one's really sad. It's just sad. I'm gonna pour some olive oil in a bowl. Just drizzle on the top. I don't have one of those spray containers. Every time I buy one, it just seems like it gets clogged and just spits stuff out. And I could put it in my mouth and do that. I don't need a bottle to do that. So just put it in a bowl and brush it on. I'm kidding, I wouldn't really spit on my food. I keep forgetting there's more than just my sister watching this. And she would laugh at that joke. We have the same sense of humor. The nice thing about these two, you do not have to turn them over while they're baking, so it's pretty hands-off once they go in the oven. That cornstarch absorbs a lot of that oil, though. Gonna need more. Notice I have parchment on my baking sheet because this is an aluminum baking sheet and I'm not a fan of food touching aluminum. So the parchment is going to prevent it from touching that, plus it makes for easier cleanup and the egg rolls will not stick to anything. Hey, how's that for good timing? Our buzzer just went off on our oven, so that means our oven's preheated. I want to be sure and get the ends of these. If you don't get the oil on the end, it tastes kind of like a piece of plastic or something. Just the texture of it, not the taste necessarily, but the texture of it is of like a hard piece of plastic you're not really supposed to have in your mouth. So be sure you get plenty of oil on the ends of those. Give this little sad one over here extra attention, extra dousing of oil too. That's the one I'll use as a taste test. I'm excited about having these again. I kept hesitating to buy egg roll wrappers when I'd go to the store, but yesterday or Tuesday when I went to the market, I saw them and I was like, you know what, that's it. I've waited long enough to make these again. I served these to a group of people that came over. They used our house for a meeting one night for a local school, and I heard one of the people in the other room say, I've had these before at a restaurant. I can't remember which restaurant it was. I didn't say anything. I figure she probably thought I went to a restaurant and got them and served them to them, but I didn't. But apparently they taste just like the ones at Chili's. Okay, gonna pop these in the oven at 400 degrees, and we're gonna cook them for, let's see, 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see how they look after that. But we're gonna make our sauce in the meantime, but we'll be right back. We're back, and then we're gonna make our dipping sauce for our egg rolls. And we wanna start out with an avocado, and I just washed this, just a plain avocado. I have several laying over there, and I felt to see which one was the squishiest. That one doesn't look too bad. If you don't know how to de-seed an avocado, that was your example. Put this right here so you can see it better. Just gonna clean that out of the shell itself. Scrape it out. Not the best looking avocado, but it's going to be a dipping sauce, so we're not going to worry too much about it. We laugh at our house. My husband eats so many avocados. He eats at least one a day, and we laugh about the 7-minute time period between the time it's so hard you can't cut it open and get it away from the shell and the time that it is completely black inside. There's about a 7-minute time period, so I wish I were kidding about that more than what I am, but sometimes seems like that. There's no guarantee about what it looks like when you open it up. Sometimes you get those big giant seeds and there's a little bit of avocado, and then sometimes you get those teeny tiny little seeds and there's so much avocado inside. So I wish there was a way to see which ones you were buying when you're choosing them, but there's not. Unless somebody knows a secret, I don't know. All right, to that, we are gonna add a cup of ranch dressing. Now this is homemade ranch dressing made with actually homemade mayonnaise, buttermilk, and homemade dry ranch dressing mix. And we will link the recipe for the dry ranch dressing mix in the description. We'll put it somewhere on the screen so you can access that recipe if you do not have it. It's pretty much worth it. So far we have a whole avocado and 1 cup of ranch dressing. If you just have the bottled kind, that's completely up to you. I would not recommend the bottled kind, but it's just because I'm very cautious about reading labels, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. But I like what's in this. So give that a stir. Now I'm making twice as much dip mix as these actually call for, because I know my husband and I know he's going to like the dip mix. So, and when I put the recipe in the description of this video, I'll put it in there just like I'm making it right now, but just know this is double the amount that whoever wrote this recipe thinks you will use. All right, I have just a handful of cilantro. It calls for 2 tablespoons, so we'll just go with it. We'll say this is 2 tablespoons. Do not be tempted to get rid of the stems and only use the leaves, because the flavor is in the stems. I'll repeat, the flavor is in the stems of the cilantro. It's not in the leaves. You get a little bit of flavor in the leaves, but not a whole lot. You get pretty in the leaves, but not flavor. Chop it as finely as you can. This in there. And then the last ingredient is, it says lime peel because that's my handwriting, because I can't use a lime without zesting it first and saving the lime peel for instances like this. You just need lime peel. I don't need the lime, but I need the peel off of it. We're going to get 2 teaspoons of lime peel. This looks like sawdust is what it looks like, but it's got lots of flavor to it, that's for sure. And this stays in my freezer. So I'll put that back in the freezer, and our egg rolls are almost done. So I want you to see what they look like when they come out. This is the dipping mix, and I'll put this in a sealable container with a tight-fitting lid and stick it in the fridge and serve it later on this evening, probably. Okay, let's get our hot pad down. Just in time. This is what our egg rolls look like. I may actually stick these back in the oven for a few minutes, but I want you to get a look at them. Not the sad one. I don't want you to look at the sad one. Yep, I'm gonna put these back in for another 5 minutes or so. False alarm. So when it says bake them for 15 or 20 minutes, I set it for 15 minutes thinking, you know what? I don't want them to overcook. I don't want them to burn. So, lesson learned, they're gonna take 20 minutes. So, we'll be right back. Ta-da! Our egg rolls are done. Let's see if I can get a closer look for you with this camera. Is it? Okay, there's the ugly one. It happens. All right. These are going to be so good. Again, I wish you could taste them, but you'll just have to make them on your own. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. We look forward to sharing something with you again real soon. But if you try these, let me know in the comments and let me know what you think about them. These are so easy. Didn't have to fry anything. So that's a win for me. See ya.